Welcome to the Trust Factor Radio, bringing you interviews and insights to unlock the power of the subconscious mind to create authority, credibility, and trust. With your host, the Authority Architect and best-selling author, Neil Howe.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is your host, Neil Howe, and today my special guest is Joshua Rivera. Joshua is an entrepreneur who started his business sleeping in his car 11 years ago and worked his way to 15 locations nationwide that specializes in SEO. And he's got a big heart, he's friendly, and he loves his family. Well, Joshua, I'm very interested to hear your story here, so welcome to the show.
Hey, Neil. Thank you for having me, and I appreciate you reaching out and getting together with me today.
Well, give us a bit of your background, because obviously you have a good story to tell, and that always gets us engaged. So, how did you get involved in this business?
Well, 11 years ago, I was in a corporate atmosphere, and a lot of my ideas were getting shot down that I felt would, increase my process to bring more business for myself and the company. And it led to me starting a corporation. My sister's an accountant, so she knew how to do all the paperwork, and I ended up working in coffee shops, doing 12, 15-hour days for about 3 years, and finally got a location and expanded and expanded and expanded. And, this whole time I was hopping on friends' couches, or even found a nice cozy tree to park under a few nights while I was growing the business.
Well, that's a great story of perseverance and just sticking with it. There's so many people out there that just quit and move on to something else. But obviously, this is something that you had your heart set on, and now you're the owner and founder of Professional Lists Incorporated. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, I first started the company. The name's kind of obscure to what I'm doing now, but I was selling sales leads, credit bureau data, homeowners, direct mail campaigns, and a few months down the road, 2008 rolls around. There's a big crash. No one's buying anything, and being so small, I just didn't have the capital to generate leads besides cold calling, and it just wasn't working for me. So I ended up learning how to generate leads myself through SEO, internet marketing, and hence, Professional List Inc. is not even close to what I would name an SEO company now. But I kind of just leave it because that's how I started.
Yeah, you've got the domain name, and you've stuck with it, which is great. So your business now is mostly SEO, is that right?
Yeah, SEO, some hosting, web design. Usually SEO is primarily the main factor to generate leads for my current clients, just because it's something we've been doing for about a little over 10 years now, generating leads in local markets, national markets for our clients today.
Well, that's quite some rise to, come from, a list business that wasn't going anywhere to having to learn SEO yourself to now, just in 10 years, to have 15 locations nationwide. Congratulations on that. What kind of clients is it that you help serve in all these locations?
Well, we've definitely take any niche in regards to the businesses in our surrounding areas, because I'm fighting against Google's algorithm, and it's not niche based when it comes to Google's algorithm. So it's pretty much we have the same recipe. It might be a little bit more aggressive for the clients that we have, but I've worked with homeowners, insurance, mortgage. And in regards to that aspect, limo companies, wedding companies, lead generation services for, let's just say, handyman or pest control, So when it comes to the style clients that we currently have, it doesn't matter who it is. We can just bring them on and get them more leads through Google.
Excellent. So would you say the large majority of your clients are those local business kind of clients that you just mentioned?
Yeah, more local service-based businesses that need more lead generation. And Google's a pretty good market because 80% of the searches nowadays are people that are using mobile. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the stuff that we are actually doing is the Google My Business marketing, where generates free properties and ranking keywords that are more relevant for the companies, but Google is putting reports out that 80-90% of searches are going to be through mobile. And that's, the best way to actually get leads from that is using the Google My Business properties because it's geared toward mobile nowadays.
So what's happened over the last few years where, obviously the majority was those desktop or laptop searches, and now it's gone to mobile. How has that changed for the local business owner, and what impact has it had on them if they haven't made a switch?
Well, let's just bring up the term millennials. A lot of newer money, not old money, is the best way that I can put it, is using Google because a lot more younger individuals are making enough income where they're looking for more service-based businesses and they're going straight to their tablets or to their phones. This is an opinion based, obviously, from what the clients that are reporting that they're getting younger buyers than they normally would through the mobile searches.
So what impact has it had on businesses that haven't really moved to a mobile-friendly website over the years? They've, had their website designed maybe a decade ago and haven't made a switch. Is that really hurting them?
It really depends on the business. If they're referral based, it's not going to hurt them. But if it's something where they need more avenues. Let's call them oceans. A red ocean is Google AdWords, and a blue ocean would be Google My Business. And it depends on how many marketing avenues they're actually using. But if they're not getting the word of mouth referral based business, then yeah, they're definitely hurting. They're definitely going to have to start something else, or they're definitely going to have to do something in regards to paid advertising to generate more leads, because Google's just another marketing avenue. So is Facebook, different type of venues to generate business. So I would say it's affecting them in a sense where if they need more leads, they're missing a huge avenue.
So what's so important about Google My Business for a local business?
Well, the interesting thing is Google, a couple years ago, they launched an algorithm update called Possum. And let's just say that you're a business and I'm 600 feet away. I have no idea you're there, but I search for your business. Google will now pop up businesses that are closer to your location. And if you don't have a Google My Business property and I'm on my phone and I'm searching, they're going to pop up the companies that are closest to that individual. Because before that update, I could be another state away and rank in that primarily location that you're in. And nowadays, if you don't actually have any Google My Business properties within a certain mile radius, Google will not put you in front of viewers. So the Google My Business is primarily for your local market, your local area. And if you don't have one or not optimized for the area you're in, you're missing people shopping. or looking for the service you offer.
So I imagine that is good for, a restaurant or a pizzeria or something like that, where, you want to grab something quick. But, what if you're a divorce lawyer? Do you really just want to go to the closest divorce lawyer to you, or do you want to find the best?
It's interesting that you bring that up. Another study shows that, let's just say, the top 3 on the Google Maps are the first ones that are showed. Whether you're the 1, 2, or 3, you're getting the first click based off how many reviews you have, whether you have a low rating or a high rating.
So it's actually the number of reviews have one of the biggest impacts on ranking there.
Right, yeah. So if someone that has 100 reviews versus a company that only has, let's say, 8 or 9, but they have the 9 reviews they have are all 5s, but the company that has 100 reviews and they're, 4, 4.5 rating, or even 3 sometimes, the studies show that the person with the most reviews and that are in the top 3 of the maps get clicked first all the time.
So how does Google distinguish between, like I said, that pizzeria where you're really looking for something right around about you, or, a divorce lawyer who really wants to target the whole city, not just, down to a neighborhood level?
Right, well, it coincides. It's based off the location, but it also based off relevancy and the keywords that you're searching for. Let's just say that you're in a couple towns over and you don't have any relevancy in that town, whether it's, say you do have a Google My Business a few blocks or even another town away. The lawyer that's in that town that someone's searching for is going to be more relevant if you don't have that relevancy. So they distinguish it the same way. Like I said, it doesn't matter what industry somebody's in because the algorithm's not going to change. And, it's for everybody. They don't have it niche specific because if they did, it'd be, a lot more work figuring out that niche for anyone's marketing.
So as far as what moves the needle to get somebody on the map, what are those really important factors?
One is getting the property himself, which Google allows you to set up and optimize yourself. But 2, it's consistency. One thing I've noticed is some changes happen 41 days after, but the average that I've noticed is that Google kind of does an average of the past 4 months of what you've done, to a point where, let's just say the ratio is 1 and you do a month of marketing, then you're at a quarter, 2 months, a half, until you get to the 4th month where you have a consistent 1. But that consistency has to continue because one day they're going to do another algorithm update, and some companies will fall and some companies will stay. But the companies that stay are doing consistency when it comes to signals. When I say signals, content, links, reviews, updates on the website, constant signals that you are giving Google that they give you credit for. So the main factor is consistency.
Now, within the Google My Business platform as well, you're also allowed to put posts and events in there. Has that had a significant impact on the ranking?
I would just say like minuscule. Like, for example, the posts that they allow you to put, let's just say, one a week, twice a week is very good for somebody to do, especially because they want to place someone that's offering news or, let's just say, sales that that company's doing that week or that weekend. And that really works good for, let's just say, retail or even restaurants, like you said before.
So as far as the Google My Business, like filling out that page, what are the really important things that must be included?
Well, the interesting thing is there's a new feature where you can put videos. I'm a consumer myself, and I always, gravitate towards a video just as anybody else would, in my opinion. But that's one of the things that is important. Videos of the business or the service or informational. It doesn't have to be, a nice edited documented video of your business per se. It could be a basic information because someone's going to click it and watch it. Also having all your contact information correct, pictures of the business, pictures of the staff, and this is pretty much just making sure you fill out everything that they give you options to. But I would say that's the most important because you got to look at business as who would you buy from? If you're running a business, what are you looking for? And for myself, like if I come across a Google My Business profile for when I'm looking for a service or shopping, uh, being a buyer and doing something for, let's just say, my home, I'm going to actually gravitate towards the company that looks more professional, has everything set up, isn't missing anything. It has more pictures than everybody else.
And as far as the reviews on these pages, does a consumer go with the guy that has the 5.0 or, maybe the 4.5 that has more reviews?
Right. Well, that depends on, let's just say, the 4.5 guy. He's got 95% positive and a few negatives. Any reputable business is going to have good reviews and bad reviews. So, in my opinion, the guy with the less reviews but all are 5 stars versus the guy that has 100 views with a 4.5 ratings, the person that has the most reviews are going to look more reputable and look like they've been in business longer, so they can handle the hiccups. They can handle the clients, the customer retention, and that's the study alone. I can't say what the buyer is going to choose, but I know who's going to get picked first, and that's the person that has the most reviews. So pressing those reviews on your current clients by asking them or even giving them an incentive to do it is something I always recommend with anybody, even before I even start business, is, hey, do you even have Google My Business reviews? Because it's a signal.
Now, what other signals are there that really help with the map ranking? I know citations were a big thing. Do they still have that power to move the ranks?
Citations, so to speak, kind of. I mean, I rank properties without citations. I mean, it's another signal. It's like you can't have enough signals. You always want to have the most. Content is always big, especially with the service that you're trying to sell or the products you're having to offer. It's obviously content is king. Everyone knows it, but the chief strategist officer for Google's algorithm in Ireland, he said it's content and links. Everything's content and links when it comes to the algorithm. It's just finding the right recipe is not always easy.
Yeah, and that is the same when it comes to the location-based maps listings, content and links.
Yeah, that's definitely for sure. Definitely for sure. I mean, sometimes properties will just rank just because, though, but that's not always the case. So you got to do a little bit of work.
So what are the important on-page factors then for a company, say it's a cleaning business? What do they need to include on their website in order to show up on the map?
Well, considering it's what markets you want to be in, how many mile radius you want to have, and then in that radius, you got to have city pages for every city that you actually want to rank in. And that's a relevancy factor, because if you want to do business in a town that you don't have a page for, you're not going to rank for it because you don't have any signals for it. So importantly, having content per city for the services you offer. For an example, like I have a limo company that's in New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, and I have a city page for every one of the cities in those states. It's like 33,000 pages or something.
Wow.
Right.
That's a lot of pages. And what does the content look like on all these pages? Is it different
they're all
is it like duplicate content?
No, I mean, I can do duplicate content because it's not frowned upon when it comes to local, but every one of the pages are unique, and they are 100% unique, actually, to that city, each page, their own content, etc. Because, if it's accepted, but one day Google's going to say, hey, you can't do duplicate content on local pages anymore. And when that day comes,
Yeah,
there's
just
going
a
to be a lot
matter of time.
Yeah, oh yeah. And that's going to be a cleanup that I really don't want to have to work on.
So from the on-page factors, then what are important things these days? I know keyword stuffing is bad, but you still need the keywords in there. What are the major factors on the page that is going to get, say, a city page ranked on the map?
I would say properly optimizing your H tags, and then using some type of brigade. When I say brigade, like, questions or statements or hashtags or power statements with like exclamation points. Because the one thing that's interesting about these pages is you are essentially trying to teach a robot or an algorithm what the page is about. And if you're not plugging in all the details possible, then it's going to go to that page, scan it, and if you don't have, an H1 tag or an H3 tag, that's basically telling this program what this piece of content is about. So optimizing the headings and all the H tags as possible. And in some pages you get, I believe it's 6. It goes all the way down to H1 to H6. So that's the main importance, in my opinion. What works for us is making sure that you properly optimize your H tags.
So these pages must have a fair bit of content on them.
Yeah, that really actually is an industry thing. Some pages need, I think the beginning of the year was like an average of 2,000 words on a page for the companies that were on the first page of Google.
Wow. And do you do that for each location, each, city or suburb within the city?
No, I mean, it's kind of like something where you would definitely have to test out that niche, for, wedding planners are going to have a little bit more content to distribute versus a cleaning lady or a cleaning company, a cleaning service, or even a carpet cleaning service. It's not going to be, it's a content difference for sure in regards to the algorithm. And that's something where it's kind of a testing phase. Usually 1,000 words is a good amount to start with, whether you need it higher or lower, because sometimes you can find out who's on the first page and look at how much content that industry has, and then you model it and go from there.
And what else is good to include? Pictures or videos?
Yeah, pictures, videos, something that's going to try to make someone stay on the page longer. And then the main thing is actually for conversion optimization is making sure you have a phone number, huge, or a call to action form that someone can fill out right away, and then also live chat. A lot of people think they don't have time or even have the staff to do a live chat, but there's apps today and plugins today that it'll go straight to your phone. And that's something where I've had great success with clients where we just threw it on there, and they've got business, because sometimes someone doesn't want to pick up a phone, or sometimes someone doesn't have time to make a phone call to make a decision to buy there and then, but they want to ask a few questions, because even with myself, like, I'll go to a website and I just want to talk to somebody. I don't want to read through anything. I just want to see if it's someone I can use or a service that I really need right now. So live chat, huge phone number, call to action forms is very important for every page.
So how about a dental service that might have, the same company might have 3 or 4 locations across the city? Does each location need their own Google My Business page?
Oh yes, that's very important. Especially because a dental service, they can service people inside that office. So if you only have one per page, then if you only have one, but you don't have one for the other locations, then essentially you're not showing your address, and that'll create a bounce. Or if you have 4, and I'm right next to one of the locations, I'm gonna go to that one. Versus if I pull up the maps and let's just say you happen to rank, but you're 20 miles from me, right? I'm gonna go to the person that's closer. So it's very important to have Google My Businesses for each location.
Excellent. Well, this has been extremely interesting. There's definitely a lot of things that people can do, but like you said, it's knowing that recipe for your individual business and being able to, put it all together so it pleases Google. What are some of the myths or misconceptions that people have about, SEO, specifically the maps marketing?
I think it's more of not understanding it, more of instead of misconceptions, because older generations are not really going to understand why they need to Google My Business until they get phone calls.
Right.
Prime example is I have an electrolysis service in New York and New Jersey that I've been doing SEO, and she primarily only wanted the organic, which is what's below the maps. Mm-hmm. And finally, I did a good solid 4 months of consistent work for her, and her phone started going crazy on the maps. And as soon as that happened, when we first started, she wouldn't let me touch her site or make changes because, it's her baby, it's her business. But once the phone started ringing from the Google Maps, she started saying, "You can do whatever you want." My phone's ringing a tremendous amount versus when she only wanted me to do the organic. But I set up those profiles for her, did the work that we know that works, and a few months down the road, I'm allowed to do whatever I want on the site now.
Mm-hmm. And so don't you need access to the site to make the proper changes in order to make things work on the map?
Oh yeah, that's before I start with any client, they know I need full admin access to everything. To the website, to the Google My Business, to the Gmail accounts, to social profiles, to everything. And then if they say no, it's not, it's to a point where I do not take on clients that don't give me full access, because I'm very successful with the method that we have. And, we've ranked sites for ourselves. That's how you found us, by typing in Atlanta SEO, and we've done it for our clients. So we can do it for you.
Excellent. So Tell me again the importance of the map rankings, because that seems to be something that you really concentrate on. You said that they really show up first and they get calls.
It's very important to have, just because Google's putting out reports that 90% of the searches are going to be from mobile users. Because, I mean, if you look around, when you go out, people have the phone in their hand. Majority of people, if you just look around, they're going to have the phone in their hand. You know, I could attest to that on a daily basis, where people aren't even talking. They're just looking down and texting or checking their phone out. And if anyone, I've even heard people like, oh, search on Google. Or that's the first thing I do when I need to find anything or even have a question. Like, I go straight to Google, or I ask Siri to help me, and Siri opens Google for me. So it's very, very important to have Google Maps, especially because it's, America's consumerism to its finest.
Well, without trying to put you on the spot here, Joshua, I don't know if you know the numbers, but what percentage of people are actually clicking on those map listings as opposed to a pay-per-click or the organic listings that show beneath?
Let's say under the organic, I think the number one position a few years back used to be about 70% of the searches was the number one position. Then a couple years went by, got to 50. Now the interesting thing is that the number one position on the organic is getting about 20%. And that the maps is actually getting more. That statistic has not been given by Google. There's some estimates based off the organic, but a good rough estimate would be 15% on the paid advertising, which is usually at the top of the maps and on the right side. And then the rest is primarily the bottom of the first page, which is anywhere from 1 to 7 probably. And then the rest is going to be the Google Maps.
So really
So I would say roughly about 40% is going to be in those maps.
So they really are taking precedent over the other areas of the page. So it is extremely important to get your business in that 3-pack.
Very important. Very important.
Josh, go ahead. Finish it.
Oh no, it's just important.
Well, if somebody is looking to get into that 3-pack, you obviously have the recipe that works. So you've been very successful with it, being able to open 15 different locations nationwide. We are here in Atlanta, but I'm sure you have offices all over the place. But what's the best way for people to get in touch with you so they can start that conversation?
For the company, it's a toll-free number. It's 866-346-5367. And that would ring to directly to the receptionist, which would patch you to one of our representatives, and we could get you started.
Excellent. And the website is?
Yeah, the website is SEO-directmail-lists.com, and lists is plural, and so that's how we started.
Excellent. Well, Joshua, I know you're traveling right now. Thank you for making some time for me, and thanks for all this great information. I know there's a lot of people that want and need to get into those coveted map listings. So I'm sure there's a lot to think about. And, if you need help with that, make sure you give Joshua a call. Thank you very much, Joshua Rivera, for being my guest on Expert Profiles Atlanta today.
Hey, Neil, I appreciate the opportunity, and it was fun. Thank you so much.
Excellent. And to our listening audience, if you like what you hear, hit that like button and share, and we'll see you next time on the show.
You've been listening to the Trust Factor Radio with Neil Howe. To learn about the resources mentioned in the show and to listen to past episodes, go to thetrustfactorradio.com. To get a copy of the book, The Trust Factor, go to thetrustfactorbook.com. If you are ready to act now and build your authority, credibility, and trust, schedule a consultation with Neil at theauthorityarchitect.com.